Want to stock up on food that will never go bad and save money in the long run? Imagine having a pantry full of essentials that you never have to worry about expiring. In this video, I'm going to reveal 40 foods that you can buy once and keep forever. Foods that not only save you money but also give you peace of mind. Whether you're preparing for emergencies or just looking to stretch your grocery budget, these items are must-haves for your kitchen. Let's dive in and start building your ultimate, long-lasting food supply in alphabetical order. 1. Alcohol, spirits like vodka, rum, whiskey. Distilled spirits have a very long shelf life due to their high alcohol content, which acts as a natural preservative. As long as the bottle is kept sealed and stored in a cool, dark place, these spirits won't expire. 2. Apple cider vinegar. This type of vinegar is naturally acidic, which prevents the growth of bacteria. It may darken or change slightly in appearance over time, but these changes are purely cosmetic and don't affect its safety or flavor. 3. Baking soda. Baking soda is a stable compound that doesn't spoil. When kept dry, it remains effective indefinitely, though its potency as a leavening agent may decrease over time. It can also be used for various household cleaning purposes. 4. Bouillon cubes. These dehydrated broth cubes or granules are packed with salt, which acts as a preservative. As long as they're kept dry and sealed, bouillon cubes can last indefinitely, making them a reliable flavor enhancer in a pinch. 5. Canned fish. Canned fish, such as tuna or salmon, is cooked and sealed in an airtight container, preventing the growth of bacteria. As long as the can remains undamaged and sealed, the fish can last for many years, though it may lose some quality over time. 6. Clarified butter. Like ghee, has had its water content and milk solids removed, leaving behind pure fat. This makes it resistant to spoilage and gives it a long shelf life when stored in an airtight container. 7. Coconut oil. Unlike other oils, coconut oil has a high saturated fat content, which gives it a very stable structure and a long shelf life. When stored properly in a cool, dark place, it can last for years without going rancid. 8. Corn syrup. Corn syrup is a sugar-based syrup that doesn't spoil due to its high sugar content. It's resistant to bacterial growth and can last indefinitely if stored in a cool, dry place. 9. Cornmeal. Cornmeal is a dried, ground grain product made from corn. When stored properly in a cool, dry place, it can last indefinitely. Its low moisture content helps prevent spoilage. 10. Cornstarch. Cornstarch is a fine powder derived from corn, commonly used as a thickening agent in cooking. It has an indefinite shelf life if kept dry and stored in a cool, dark place. Its neutral nature and lack of moisture make it resistant to spoiling. 11. Distilled white vinegar. This vinegar is highly acidic, which prevents the growth of bacteria, mold, or yeast. As long as it's stored in a cool, dark place, it remains safe to use indefinitely. Over time, it may change slightly in appearance, but this doesn't affect its safety or efficacy. 12. Dried beef jerky. Beef jerky is made by removing moisture from the meat through drying, often with added salt as a preservative. This low moisture content makes it resistant to bacterial growth, giving it a long shelf life when stored in a cool, dry place. 13. Dried beans. Dried beans have very low moisture content, making them inhospitable to bacteria and mold. While they may lose some of their nutritional value and take longer to cook as they age, they remain safe to eat indefinitely if stored in a cool, dry place. 14. Dried herbs and spices. Dried herbs and spices have had their moisture removed, which prevents the growth of bacteria, mold, and yeast. While they may lose potency in flavor and aroma over time, they don't spoil and can be safely used indefinitely when stored in a cool, dry place. 15. Dried lentils. Like dried beans, lentils are low in moisture, making them resistant to spoilage. When stored in a dry, cool place, they can last indefinitely. They may take longer to cook as they age, but remain safe to eat. 16. Dried mushrooms. Dried mushrooms have had their moisture removed, making them resistant to bacteria and mold. When stored in an airtight container in a cool, dark place, they can last indefinitely. 17. Dried pasta. Dried pasta is made from durum wheat, which has a low moisture content. When stored in a sealed container in a cool, dry place, it can last indefinitely. Over time, it may lose some of its flavor or texture, but it remains safe to eat. 18. Dried seaweed. Dried seaweed is dehydrated and has a very low moisture content, making it highly resistant to spoilage. When stored in a sealed container in a cool, dark place, it can last for many years. 19. Freeze-dried fruit. Freeze-dried fruit is made by removing the moisture from fresh fruit through a freezing process. This results in a product that is light, crunchy, and has an extended shelf life, especially when stored in an airtight container. 20. Granulated sugar, like other forms of sugar, has a very long shelf life due to its low moisture content. When stored in an airtight container in a cool, dry place, it remains stable indefinitely, making it a reliable pantry staple for baking, cooking, and preserving foods. 21. Hard cheese, like Parmesan. Hard cheeses are low in moisture and high in salt, both of which help to preserve them. When properly stored, hard cheeses can last for a very long time, even improving in flavor as they age. 22. Hard grains like wheat, barley, and rye have a low moisture content and a hard outer shell that protects them from spoiling. When stored in a cool, dry place, they can last for decades, especially if stored in airtight containers. 23. Hardtack is a simple type of cracker or biscuit made from flour, water, and sometimes salt. It is baked until completely dry, giving it an extremely long shelf life. It was commonly used as a long-lasting food source by sailors and soldiers in the past. 24. Honey is a natural preservative due to its low water content and acidic pH, which prevents microbial growth. It has been found in ancient tombs, still safe to eat after thousands of years. If it crystallizes, you can simply warm it to return it to its liquid state. 25. Instant cocoa mix. This mix, typically made of cocoa powder, sugar, and powdered milk, has a long shelf life due to its low moisture content. When kept dry and sealed, it can last indefinitely, though the flavor may diminish slightly over time. 26. Instant coffee. Instant coffee is made by dehydrating brewed coffee, removing the moisture that could lead to spoilage. When stored in an airtight container and kept dry, it can last indefinitely, though its flavor may degrade over time. 27. Maple syrup. Pure maple syrup has a high sugar content, which acts as a natural preservative. When stored in a cool, dry place, preferably refrigerated after opening, it can last indefinitely without spoiling. 28. Molasses is a thick syrup made from sugar cane or sugar beet juice. It has a very high sugar content, which acts as a preservative. When stored in a cool, dark place, it can last indefinitely, though its flavor may intensify over time. 29. Mustard seeds are naturally dry and contain oils that act as preservatives. They have an indefinite shelf life when stored in a cool, dry place and can be ground into mustard powder or used whole in cooking. 30. Pemmican is a traditional Native American food made from dried meat, fat, and sometimes berries. It is highly preserved due to its low moisture content and can last for years, making it a great survival food. 31. Popcorn kernels. Popcorn kernels are a whole grain with a very low moisture content, which helps them last indefinitely when stored in a cool, dry place. They can be popped and enjoyed for years to come. 32. Powdered milk. Powdered milk is made by dehydrating liquid milk, which removes the water content that could cause spoilage. It has a long shelf life, especially when stored in a cool, dark place, though its flavor and nutritional value may diminish over time. 33. Pure vanilla extract. Made by soaking vanilla beans in alcohol, pure vanilla extract has a high alcohol content, which acts as a preservative. As long as it's kept tightly sealed and away from heat and light, it can last indefinitely. 34. Raw cocoa powder. Cocoa powder is made from the dry solids of cocoa beans and contains very little moisture. It can last indefinitely if stored in a cool, dry place. Over time, it may lose some of its flavor potency, but it won't spoil. 35. Salt. Pure salt, or sodium chloride, has no moisture, making it immune to bacterial growth. It's a natural preservative and has been used for centuries to preserve food. As long as it's kept dry, it doesn't spoil or lose its potency. 36. Soy lecithin. Soy lecithin is an emulsifier derived from soybeans. It's often used as a food additive and has a very long shelf life when stored in a cool, dry place due to its low moisture content. 37. Soy sauce is a fermented product with a high salt content, both of which act as preservatives. It can last indefinitely if stored properly in a cool, dark place. Over time, its flavor may deepen, but it remains safe to consume. 38. Sugar. Sugar is a natural preservative due to its low moisture content and ability to inhibit microbial growth. As long as it's kept dry and free from contamination, it can last indefinitely without spoiling. 39. White rice. When stored in an airtight container and kept dry, white rice can last indefinitely. Its low oil content makes it resistant to rancidity, unlike brown rice, which contains more natural oils that can spoil over time. 40. Whole grains. Whole grains, such as quinoa, millet, or farro, have a protective outer layer that helps them stay fresh for long periods. When stored in a cool, dry place, they can last for years without spoiling. They are best kept in airtight containers to maintain their quality. And there you have it. 40 foods that can last a lifetime and save you money in the long run. By stocking up on these essentials, you're not just preparing for emergencies. You're making a smart financial decision that will keep your pantry full and your wallet happy. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, and subscribe for more tips on how to live smarter, save money, and get the most out of your kitchen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.